What's up, guys? This is Coy with Baker Forge and Tool, and today we are excited to announce a brand new line of billets called Integral Billets. Let's do this. All right, guys, well, after weeks and weeks of R&D and working on this concept, we have finally perfected the integral billet. A lot of you guys know what integral knives are. That's where the handle and blade transition into the blade transitions into a bolster, a full steel bolster that becomes part of the knife handle. And so traditionally that's only been accomplished by guys who can forge. You know, you got to start from a round or square bar and draw out your blade and handle and isolating from a bolster thickness. And so that was limited to guys who had forges, power hammers, well, not really power hammers, but at least a decent forge and anvil and hammer setup. Your stock removal guys don't really have access to some of that. Well, we're here to change that with the integral billet. Our first lineup of integrals that are releasing this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are the Damascus bolster integrals. We have two different variants. We have a Damascus core. That is a multi-layer. We've got 100-layer Damascus wrapped up with 50, 25, some solid at 1084 stretched in there. It's just a beautiful amalgam of different layers. It kind of flows really cool. And of course that transitions nice and cleanly into the integral bolster, which is copper Damascus, our signature triple alloy copper Damascus, and it is sick. The second layout is solid core. That is a mono steel 80 CRV2 core with the copper Damascus bolster. What that gives you is a beautiful black, jet black blade when etched and properly, and that transitions into that nice high layer copper Damascus bolster. Gives a really, really cool look. Now, both of these test pieces that you're seeing here, the test blades, these were made by Josh Morgan of Primitive Woodsman. He is an excellent knife maker and knife designer, and we teamed up with him on this concept because we needed some test knives made. He's made a whole handful of test knives, but these are the ones where it was, these are the ones using this batch's release of steel, and boy, did they turn out just amazing. Josh, we consulted him with all sorts of aspects of knives and getting us into the mind process of the knife maker and what we needed to do and look for. And so we actually passed these billets off to Josh directly and allowed him to work his swoop grind into the front of these bolsters all ready for you. So again, it's not a finished swoop, but that transition has already been ground in for you guys who are maybe not used to making integrals, and that transition from blade to bolster can be kind of tricky. Well, we took care of that and we pre-ground those swoops in there nice and even. It gives you a great starting point for grinding a clean transition right there. We knew we wanted to take these to the extra step. They're already a bit of a more exotic billet because it is welded bolsters, and we just wanted to take that next step to allow the knife makers more ease of making their final product. So the blade portions will come clean, free of scale. Bolster transition already ground in, as I said, and then the back half of the knife, the handle portion, is just gonna be left raw as is and allow you to cut in whatever shape and whatnot you need. So with that, let's go into measurements. All right, so on the website, you're gonna see a couple of different measurements. I just wanted to run quickly through those with you guys real fast. First measurement is the actual length of the bolster. Bolster length from the front of where the bolster starts against the blade to the back of the bolster is on all of them just shy of 2 inches. We wanted to make sure we had plenty of bolster there so you guys could work in your transition in that back to when you are pairing up your handle. However that transition looks, we We wanted to make sure there was plenty of bolster there for you to do. 2 inches is a lot and too much for quite a bit of knives, but it gives you room to cut in exactly what you want design-wise. The other measurement is going to be overall length, of course, which speaks for itself, and that will vary billet to billet. Our next measurement is blade length. And so when the website says blade length, that's measuring from the very front of the bolster to the tip of where your edge could be, or the end of the bar. From the very front of that bolster grind up to the tip. That, of course, varies billet to billet as well. But our last measurement here doesn't change. The measurement of the handle from the very front of the bolster all the way to the back of the handle on all billets is 5.5 inches. And after discussing things with Josh and looking at a bunch of different integral knives that he's done and that other makers have done, we've decided 5.5 inches was a great length to leave it. That is your entire handle width, and of course 5.5 inches is a bit long for most handle designs. And so that gives you plenty of room to work in whatever design you want. And as always, the billets come annealed, they are softened, they are ready to be ground. We take extra steps with these to make sure they're soft to get through that bolstered area. We are super excited to release these. We're gonna do some new layouts in the future. We are excited to see what you guys can come up with. So go to the website, snag you one on Saturday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, guys.